Right, should we do an actual intro this time?
Guess
Yeah?
we should probably.
Yeah, okay, rather than halfway through like last time. This is episode 7.
No, 8.
No, 7.
8.
7. Definitely episode 7.
6, 7.
Oh,
Yes, we love it.
It's episode
this?
7, just the 7, of the Dave and Georgie show, which is a podcast all about human connection.
Yeah. Do we need more of an intro than that?
I don't think we do. I think we need to intro the legends we have sat across.
I'm so excited.
Or how about we let them introduce themselves?
Should we just hand it over?
The man,
Go.
the myth, it is Jim Holland.
My name's Jim Holland. I'm the co-founder of Karma, and I'm absolutely delighted and excited to be here this afternoon.
Wonderful, thank you. Tell us about yourself. What does Karma? I know what Karma does. It's a wonderful organisation. Jim's actually been a client of mine as well. So I came and did some work with the team, and I'm a client of Karma's. They do amazing work. But Jim, do you want to tell us a little bit more about Karma?
Absolutely. So Karma is a social enterprise and a B Corp, and we create social value and environmental impact on behalf of organisations, and we bring it to life on a digital dashboard, employ veterans and service leavers, and providing them with positive pathways to employment through nature-based tasks.
Okay, how does a tree planting?
They're still down there. If you want, you can say we plant trees and help people.
But they do it in a really an unbelievable way, like Jim just said. Like it's so cool, and the work they do is amazing. Like I couldn't be a prouder client. So yeah, awesome.
And over to Elaine. Thanks. I'm Elaine McCulloch. Used to work in a former life with my fabulous Georgie, large tech company who shall remain nameless. I work in social impact, and I tend to float around either working freelance or on long-term contracts.
How exciting. No, really cool. And as you mentioned, we met each other, no, not as many as 10, 8 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
I was a site leader doing all sorts of things, but the voluntary or the foundation elements for that office of up to 500 people was in my hands to coordinate, and I worked very closely with you, and we just, bonded. And
We did, bonding over our love of doing fabulous things and giving back. So yes, still.
But it is. That's the thing. When you work for a tech, if you're not particularly techie and you work in a tech company, you find other things to excite you and delight you.
Absolutely. And working with great social enterprises was a huge part of what we did as well. So I was really excited when you said that Jim was on the podcast, so we can get to bounce off ideas.
So the question we always keep people off. Thank you for telling us what you do. What do you really love about what you do? What problems are you solving, and what do you love about what you do? And let's stick with you, Elaine.
Okay, so what problems do I solve and what I do? Well, I think those of us that have been around long enough, and I've been around way too long in social impact or social value space, it comes and evolves. So it could be CSR, is it marketing philanthropy? What is the name? Who do we work with? What do we do? And I think the biggest problem that I solve is a lot of big companies want to do more, but they don't know how. So you've got to be a good neighbour, right? If you've got hundreds of people, sometimes thousands, driving into your complex, you've got a big old complex of staff, of vehicles, rubbish, waste, everything else. You need to do your bit for your hyper-local community, but you also then got your community at large, whether that be the industry that you work in, the country that you operate in. So how do you do your bit? And I think because I used to work in the charity sector, so you work by trade, careers via that. So I've got quite a unique insight into coming at it from a charity lens as well as the corporate world. So my job and the problem I solve is to help the big bosses decide what they can do, what they should do, and why they should do it. And then underneath all of that, I write a lot of boring reports to be able to justify the spend. So what we call in our world, social return on investment over return on investment. Business is business, the bottom line is the bottom line, but we all have our part to play in making the world a little bit of a better place. So hopefully I'm quite unique in that I get to do that, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting crossover. I do lots and lots of work with agencies, right, marketing agencies, and in that world, everything is kind of ROI and attribution, right? It's all like down to that last click attribution if someone's going to buy something, and there's so much more than that, right? And it could be the social impact work that's going on. Maybe it's word of mouth and referrals that I do, or they have this in this brand and PR stuff, and I think that intersection between brand stuff, which the CSR stuff obviously fits into, and then people's direct decisions whether or not to purchase from a brand is a huge part. And the more that can be tied together, I think the more impactful.
Absolutely. If you look at where responsible business is evolving, right? So you're solving a social issue that meets the needs of your business at the same time. That's the sweet spot. And a lot of people will utilize it and drive it through HR. So it's building their culture, it's establishing connections. So if you're working with Jim's organization and we're all out planting trees and you've got the CFO standing next to the receptionist who's next to the product designer, they may have never even spoken to each other before. And they've got that magical moment where they're all getting to know each other and they're planting trees and they're out of the office, so it meets their well-being as well. You then chuck in a couple of your commercial partners and the people that buy off you or use your products. Again, the relationship completely changes. But what you are also doing is doing good in your community. And I think and loads of us in social impact, we talk about this all the time. Everyone knows what a marketeer does. Everyone knows what a finance person does. Everybody knows what a podcast recording person does. Come to us, and they're like, sorry, you do what? So we need to really work on how we look. Elevator pitches, you did yours great, Jim, right? I'll be here for 20 minutes trying to explain what I do. So it's making sure that we're really clear so people get the value and we can sell it better.
Even though I would have thought I would have had a good steer of what you did, but then when you spoke about some of those additional impacts, like the CFO, I thought, I hadn't even thought about that, about like the team building and productivity, which then impacts kind of your recruitment costs and everything like that, because you're forming these extra nice. So couldn't agree more. So on the what you love about what you do, is it the boring reports or is it the doing stuff like that? Sure, should we just move on to Jim?
I'm not even gonna lie. Before we come to Jim, I love the boring reports, so that's why I am a total geek off, because you need the data to prove that what you do is valuable. And if you're trying at the decision makers, all the C-suite, all these great big geniuses that run business, the leaders of our industry, they are data people. So you have to be able to talk their language. So the boring reports, sometimes that's where the win comes. That they go, all right, Elaine, off you pop, here's some money, go and change the world. And you get to great organisations like Jim, or come and do things and change people's lives, people you may never meet. And that is where it's so special. So data drives those decisions, and that's the bit that I love.
And you know what? Even with the work that I do, when I work with clients particularly on partnership strategy or even referral stuff, it's so process driven behind the scenes. And people would not think that of me, that I'm a process person. But so you need to have the boring stuff to do the fun stuff, right? And so you need to have the data to unlock the funds to do the amazing work. So I do get that.
A little bit of both and the magic. And again, when you're trying to engage staff, everybody's got a job to do. So you have to be the best salesperson in the world to be able to convince them to leave their desk, to leave their deadline, to risk their boss, to come and read to a young person, plant a tree, debug a website for a really small charity that's got no resource. You know it's the right thing to do, they don't. So it's a little bit of sales, a little bit of data, a little bit of process, sometimes a little bit of magic. But when it works, it's amazing, isn't it? When you really see people enjoying themselves through giving back.
And that's a real magic. And we talk about connection, but when we do the tree planting days, we get connection thricefold. So people connect with each other. They connect with veterans. More importantly, they connect with themselves. Because innately, we're programmed to look after and tend for our local environment. Now people live in villages, towns and cities. They're so far removed from it. They spend very little time in nature. They come out and it's been a magical experience for me. Is watching people. After an hour, they're decompressing. Like, this is wonderful. They have this emotional epiphany. And you're like, wow, money can't buy it.
Is there a tending to your community as well, though? So like the tending to nature bit, which I completely agree with, but then back to Elaine's thing about the CFO chatting to the thing, is there that in this day and age, again, everything's results driven, busy. Like, when do you get the time to just chat shit with someone 3 times above your pay grade or whatever, and just all be humans,
and all be present. More importantly, all be present. So we planted with a company called Glennikens. They're a software company. They're based down in Bournemouth. Two guys came along After an
Well, did you promise them they promised you an extra bit of a check if you mentioned them by name? Is that it? I know you, Jim Holland. There we go.
no.
Other software companies are available. Sponsorship opportunities available.
Part of the MBS group. Did they get that? Oh, Walter. but John and Francois, they came along planting for an hour and a half, and I walked, guys, you all right? And Francois turned around and said, I've been working with him for 10 years. I've learned more in the last hour than I have over the last 10 years. How powerful is that?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And is that what you love about what you do? Is that piece? Like, or I mean, there must be so many facets because you're ticking so many boxes, right?
So if you go back to the problem statement, what problem are we solving as a business? Well, I'm former Royal Navy. When I left the Royal Navy, I really struggled to resettle. Not until the last 5 or 6 years, I've come to understand that 10% of all service leavers struggle to find employment within the first year, and a further 15% need a hand up, not a hand out, within the first 2 years. So what we doing as a business, providing positive pathways to employment for veterans and service leaders, that's one problem we're solving. At the same time, we're helping companies create social value by getting them out with veterans. So we give 3% of our gross takings to the Standing Tall Foundation, which provides mental health counselling for veterans and service leavers. Every 1,000 trees, we provide a day's resettlement for service leavers into green sector jobs. So we're doing so much good in that space and solving two problems.
Well, you're not even mentioning the environmental piece. You're planting trees.
At the same time, we're putting trees in the ground and we're making the world a better place. So we net biodiversity gain is there, cleaning air, providing farmers with hedgerows, marginal landowners that couldn't normally afford the hedgerow. So there's pure additionality, pure social value, and just making the world a better place. And with the underlying message, the veterans are valuable, not vulnerable.
Yeah, I remember when I worked in recruitment for a short stint, and I guess there's all like any large group of people. There's different nuances within it, right? But for us working in recruitment, if someone came in and they were ex-forces, this is old days. They didn't leave the office until you had them like interviews, because when you spoke to an employer that you already knew and trusted you and said, I've got an ex-service person here, they would bite your hand off because they are punctual, they get hard work, all the basics that should be taken for granted, but we all know isn't how the world works. Like, it used to be like the dream ticket, but then that's because they were confident enough to be out there looking and everything else. And I guess it's not true for everyone, right?
So not true for everyone. And it depends where you are regionally. So if you're in London or the M4 corridor, if you're out of work, it's probably because you've chosen not to work. Just so many opportunities. I left the Royal Navy in 2001, and went back to Barnsley, having left 13 years earlier with 3 GCSEs. By the time I'd left the Navy, I got a degree in computing, HND in electronic engineering, a wealth of people experience, and Barnsley hadn't moved on at all. Got 40% male unemployment. So I did what came naturally to a sailor with a head full of ideas and a pocket full of cash. Bought a town centre pub and raved my way through the early 2000s.
Right, you know what? We've got an order of questions, and I am about to mess up our order of questions because it's too
be a rebel.
I can't not do it. So we have a question that we always ask, and we're going to ask it around the best introduction that you've ever had given to you, or seen given that you've either given or received. But I want to know how you ended up being mates with Bez at your pub, right? So did you see why? I can't not.
So I used to frequent a nightclub called Heaven and Hell in Barnsley, and I always used to hang around in Heaven. It's where the VIP lounge was, and I was a member. And Bez was DJing this one particular night. And then the nightclub, it was in the days when nightclub shut at 2 o'clock. So I'm in the VIP bit, Bez is there.
For people that don't know Bez, we're talking about Happy Mondays, dancer, tall guy, shakes the tambourine about quite a lot, just general legend. Oh, Gogglebox. Younger listeners may know him from Gogglebox.
He's reinvented himself as a bit of a reality TV person, as I last saw him on MasterChef.
Oh, okay.
Butchering an apple pie. So the reiterations how people always reinvent themselves. But anyway,
Sorry.
VIP lounge, Bez is hanging around.
Yeah, and I said, somebody introduced me to him. I said, yeah, great to meet you, mate. I said, look, I'm going back to my pub. I own a pub in town. Do you want to come back? We're having a bit of a party. And he just went, I love a party.
course he did. Hey!
And the rest is history. He did actually at one point tell me I got a bit of a problem, and when he tells you you've got a problem,
wow.
start to listen.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Right. So while we're on it though, what is the best introduction you've ever either had given to you or you've given out? And Elaine, we're going to come to you.
Do you know what? I know you did kind of sort of semi-briefed us on these questions. I think maybe I'm just either go to really boring networking events or I'm just really boring because I couldn't think of anything. I think for me, the introduction is just simple, clear, that you can then explain what you do and then just become a real person and just have a conversation and just connect. Because I'm going to segue slightly, but my point is, I think sometimes when you're getting to know people, you feel like they're trying to sell you something. And especially because the role that I do, and I meet a lot of people from the charity in the third sector, they're like, you got gold bars in your back pockets. So they're like, hi, I'm Elaine. Anyway, what do you work on? What do you do? And they're straight in on the sell. And I'm like, I want to know you as a person. So I didn't quite answer your question, Dave.
No, that's right. We had it last time. We literally had this last time round.
I just, unless someone's like, hi, I'm James Bond. But I think it's just introduce yourself and then just be human first rather than trying to hook me in. That's what LinkedIn's for. Connect, have that conversation later on down the line, but just build a relationship first. But I don't know. I could be being a bit controversial there, but that's kind of my take on that.
Wonderful. I've had so many wacky introductions over my life, but one particularly sticks out. Is given to me by Simon Biltcliffe, the founder of Webmart. He said, "Oh, I know Tim Smith." I said, "All right." I said, "Who's that?" He said, "You don't know Tim Smith?" He said, "I'm going to introduce you to him. Send you an email." Send him an email. I said, "Send this email, Tim Smith." Next minute, I'm on an hour call with Sir Tim Smith, who's a founder of the Eden Project down in Cornwall. The bloke is an absolute total and utter legend. Totally.
Oh, I wonder which one's going to go. Very good.
Absolute
He was a complete dumbass. Like, wait till I talk.
That's slightly crazy.
Obviously,
Trick.
Yeah, and he was telling me all about this 4 billion-year-old asteroid he'd got that is older than the Earth, and every time everyone came around to his house, all they wanted to do was talk about the asteroid and hold it, and it was just wonderful, off the wall, very, very smart. So I mean, you've got David Attenborough and Tim Smith, and just really, really wonderful introduction, and fully endorse what we're doing, and I love that.
Did you so you just mentioned David Attenborough? Have you been introduced? Met David Attenborough as well?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
Listeners, if anyone in here knows David Attenborough, can introduce Jim, then there we go.
Apparently, I'm on his list, so yeah, it needs a segue into me.
But did that introduction to Tim Smith lead to business?
Not yet, but hold that thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never know, right? Like that's you got to know these people in the first place. I mean, and I think when you have relationships at that level, you can't.
You never assume
But also back to Elaine's point about kind of jumping in. Like there are certain relationships where you go, okay, the right thing will if there is something to be done, the right thing will appear at the right time. And you just got to nurture them, haven't you? And kind of like.
And actually, when it is right, it shouldn't feel like business. It should feel organic.
Just natural.
Because the relationship's already there.
Yeah. And then, parting with money to have the product or service doesn't feel like, as I say, it's transactional. It's just happened because it's meant to be, because you're solving that problem.
Money is the energy, isn't it? It's like an energy exchange. The money is just the kind of thing of it. Without
and it's easier said than done. Is at the end of the day, if you need to buy something, or in our world, it's corporates or community companies, and my client, I suppose, is looking at the charity element of it. But there's lots and lots of people out there, and it is about relationships. Because those of us that work in social impact, someone ring me and go, how do you know so and so, or have you ever heard of this charity? And you're going, and that's what happens when you've got trusted relationships. Or George, you introduced me to Jim. It was just when I started work, and I was like, I will come back to you. It just wasn't right at the time, but because I trust you, that you would only introduce me to someone that would bring real value to the work that I do, in the same way that that George would introduce to someone that actually gets it. So I think that's where the connection, the relationship comes from. So one day I'll be like, right, I need to add to my book.
Yeah.
And it will be as simple as that. I'm not going on Google. You're not having to give me the hard sell.
Can you give them a date? Just what was
Well,
already?
26 negotiated at the moment. But yeah, I mean, for many organisations, again, back to your piece about veterans, for me, community, social impact and working volunteering especially is about allyship and ally creation. And a lot of people don't realise that comes out. They just think, oh, I'm getting muddy, I'm planting trees, or I'm painting a wall, or I'm teaching a little kid to read. But what you're doing is giving people the opportunity to educate themselves about society's challenges. In a veteran community are people in their own right, but not everybody always gets an easy card. And adjusting to Civvy Street, you said, recruiters would bite your arm off. That's not always the way, because sometimes it could be seen as quite regimented and they're not flexible and fluid in the modern working world. So, sometimes organisations have to do their bit more. So whether it be part of the covenant, Armed Forces Covenant, where companies make a pledge and a commitment to do specific things to support the veteran community. There's some organisations that really champion that. I'm very privileged to work for one of those and have done previously, but a lot of organisations are like, absolutely not. So it really depends on what your organisation, the drivers are, and how you can leverage that through environmental awareness and getting people outside, which is good for their mental health as well.
I love that. And there's a real opportunity, and you just hit the nail on the head, is to actually upskill line managers into the capability that are in service leavers and veterans. I mean, when I had that first phone call with Vodafone, the guy said on the phone, he said, ex-military do really well here because we're really structured. And as soon as I walked through that door, I was in a huge company. You've got a clear mission, clear vision, values, and more importantly, they gave me a set of objectives, and I just smashed it because I got a framework to operate in. And if you can give a veteran a framework to operate in, they're just like, you know what you need to do to progress to the next level. And of course, we're very task orientated, but very good at getting shit done under pressure. So that's where we've come from.
Nice.
You touched on Vodafone and walking in. We know the story behind that, but do you want to give a quick explanation as to, what happened since the Bev days?
Yeah.
How that has transpired into, going into big corporate? Because I think that's really interesting.
Well,
A completely different route to most people, and how you...
And you know what? I'm then going to suggest we roll it back into, once you've given us your story of your journey,
yes,
which I think is the right thing to do, because as you say, it's a
It
brilliant
is
one.
great.
I'd like you to reflect and think about what you would tell your younger self. Both your younger self when they were young, when you were young, which is like fucking too long ago, right? And your younger self if they were young now, if that's any different at all.
yeah.
So story first and then your reflections.
Yeah, no problem. So touch on the fact I bought a pup, which was a lesson in how to lose 200 grand in 18 months. That's a separate podcast, but wow, I had a great time. Fantastic time. I was single, no accountability other than to myself. Mind you, I let myself down, so I lost all my money. Got a job as a roofer, so I'm earning £40 a day.
Excellent.
Carrying tiles up a ladder. I remember one day we're driving up the M1, got the two roofers in the front of a caddy van. I'm laid on the tools in the back. My phone goes. A guy called Steve McCann rings me up. He's my old boss in the Navy. He said, Jim, how are you getting on? I said, honestly, Steve, hand on heart, I'm struggling. Drinking too much. I'm partying too hard. I've lost all my money. Can't pay my mortgage. I'm working as a roofer. He went, a roofer? He said, you're the best qualified out of all of us. You've got a degree in computing, HND in electronic engineering. I said, Steve, you ever been to Barnsley? Zero opportunity. He said, well, would you consider moving to? And I went, yes. I said, well, I haven't told you where yet. I said, if you're there and there's a job, I'm coming. He said, well, I'm at Vodafone. He said, get yourself home, send me a CV. I'll send it to my boss. So I got home, sent him a CV. 10 minutes later, the phone rang. I answered the phone. It's Mike O'Connor from Vodafone. I've just got your CV from Steve McCann. Ex-military, do really well at Vodafone. You've got a degree in computing. You'll be the best qualified person in my team. He said, however, we're a team of Unix engineers and I can't see Unix anywhere on your CV. What do you know about Unix? So I said, hand on heart, Mike. I've just Googled it. There's 48 commands. How hard can it be? And he started laughing. He said, come and have an interview. This was Tuesday. I was in Vodafone on the Thursday and I joined there September 2006. And I had 8 wonderful years there. I met my wife, Sally, there. Completely changed my life. And people talk about finding your tribe. But I just found, just all of a sudden, I was with a lot of like-minded individuals that were hungry and ambitious. And there weren't many of them in Barnsley. They were hungry, they just weren't ambitious.
But that's quite unusual within a big corporate, because I find actually within those environments, it's a real mismatch of people and personalities. And, you know, I think that's really cool that you managed to find that tribe within a big corporate, because as I say, a lot of people struggle to find their.
And do you know, it wasn't in the
people.
team I was in. As soon as I got there was this touch rugby team. So I joined the touch rugby team, and it was full of young, vibrant kids, went to the corporate games. My team, 18 months after I joined Vodafone, I got promoted. And well, my team was staying stagnant. Some of them were still there. Excuse me. And I had to sit down with my boss. I went, Mike, I've just been offered a job. It's a promotion. And he said, oh, that's brilliant. I said, I feel really guilty. He said, don't feel guilty. This was always going to be a stepping stone for you to get into the organisation.
Nice.
I said, yeah, what a great guy, right? And I said, no, but I feel guilty about the fact I still don't know anything about Unix. And he stood up and he went, don't worry about it. You've got shit.
Right, reflections on that, Jim. Is it fake it till you make it? Is it? Which I know you didn't.
No. Well, look, not cuff too tough, right? And reflections. So, I mean, I maintain the best decision I ever made was leaving Party when I was 17. Brilliant. No regrets of joining the Royal Navy. No regrets on the learnings I had when I left the Navy and went back to Barnsley. However, I think the top advice is just back yourself. Go with the flow. If it doesn't feel right, get out.
Gut feel, right?
Gut feel. And Barnsley wasn't right for me, so I got out. And I got out twice, and I ain't going back.
Nice. There is that thing, isn't there? There are something like that. I think there's 80% of the amount of neuroreceptors in your gut as there are in your brain. Right?
Yeah.
So that whole gut feel thing, it's
so true.
it is actually true, right? I think the older you get, like the more you learn
In tune to it.
to do more and trust it, right? Because when you don't, and you're like, oh, it'll be all right, whether it's a business decision or a personal decision, and you tend to maybe do it more in business because, like, you go, oh, it's logical to do this, even though your gut says otherwise, and then you're like, oh, fuck, you should have listened, shouldn't I? Right? And I think you only learn through mistakes. You only learn. You can tell it to a young'un, right? And they'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I believe you. And like, oh, you've not learned yet, have you? You will. Therefore, it's just that gut feel, but yeah, life or business. So love that.
And I guess that would be the same if you were to tell your younger self if they were around now. I mean, that echoes beautifully. It's not really something of the times, is it? It's yeah. And you've got a fairly big family now.
Fairly big. Fairly big. I'll tell you what, there's more advent calendars in our house than there is in Boots. So Sally and I have got 4 children, all girls.
Yeah.
So I live with 5 women. But I've tried to
Spend as much time at the house as possible.
yeah. Try to compensate for that. I've got two dogs, both boys,
Oh.
Vic and Bob.
I've been walking with Vic and Bob a few times.
Oh.
He's horrible to one of them.
I Bob.
I say horrible. Let me just add to that. When I say horrible, not cruel. He only likes one of them.
Oh, that's
Which way round is it?
I love Vic. Bob's just like Bob Mortimer. He's a complete nuisance.
Oh my God. Are they the same age? Is one a bit more?
I know Bob's the younger one. He's a year younger. You know what? He has to
love
shoot
both-
a little bit.
I love both of Jim's dogs equally. Just saying.
Are they both black labs? So you got, working dogs.
They're both miniature Labradoodles.
Oh.
So Vic is a miniature Labradoodle. Bob, he forgot to stop growing. To a bad start. He's huge. He's like an elephant hound. Miniature. There's nothing miniature about him. His dad was a giraffe. His mum, I don't know what he knew.
Years ago, my friend turned 30, and sort of that friendship group, we all chipped in because she really wanted a pygmy hedgehog. So we bought her this pygmy hedgehog. It cost hundreds, and it didn't stop growing.
You buy it by a chap called Delboy.
Really stitched up.
I've never heard of that in my life.
An episode of Only Fools and Horses. Jeez.
Oh, it's so stupid. She's like, it's still because she bought the right cage sort of side foil.
All this leg's poking out of the cage.
Yeah. And then, no, it was massive. It was massive. But she's like, it's not stopped stopped growing. Anyway, it was talking of miniatures and not so miniature. Anyway,
Elaine, yeah, what would you tell your younger self?
What would I tell my younger self? I think for me, it would be to take the time to thank more people, like your bosses. And I mean, like, proper thank you, hugs, cards, like ugly crying thank yous. Because I think when you look back, I mean, everyone shapes your career, right? But I think when I look back, and again, you don't appreciate it when you're younger, but how many people shaped the person that I am today. And I think when I was younger, I'm all mouth, full of fire, passionate, running at 400 miles an hour, and didn't go uni. Do you know what I mean? Like, scraped through school. I worked my way up through the world, and sometimes then you don't get those loads of lessons in the working world, do you? You know, when you work in a pub, you can tell someone to fuck off, but you can't do that in a corporate business world. So, I mean, very privileged that I had great people that really helped shape me, and I don't think I really ever thanked them as well. So I think if I could grab my 20-year-old self, would be like, just stop and thank everyone just that little bit more, because it really will change the person that you are. And I'm still gobby, and I don't quite run at 400 miles an hour because I'm just knackered all the time. But I think it's made me a better person and a better leader at work, and really just focusing on those relationships and making sure I say thank you and giving back and time. I think that's what I would do.
When you first started giving that answer, I had a witty retort in mind, but there's no way I'm going to do it. That's too beautiful an answer.
I love that.
That's one of the nicest answers we've had, I think. That's really nice.
But at the same time, you've got to give yourself credit, because it's not all about thanking people that are earning, $500,000 a year, and they're. It's going to sound awful, but they're doing their job, and they are.
Is that being
they're
right?
working with people that are going to make them look good, and through doing the social impact stuff, that does make them look good. However, I'm the same as you, gobby,
Really?
Hey.
We're very shy and retiring.
not uni educated, but you've got that certain amount of confidence, and I'm the same. But it was only with certain senior leaders that I would really get on with. Some of them, you just don't click with, do you? So I'm guessing the people that you're talking about are the sorts of people that you manage to bond with and, spend more time with on a human connection level rather than a KPI level, or, chasing that data.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when I'm younger, I came from the charity in the third sector. So these weren't people earning £500,000. They were like overworked, underpaid, harassed people, but just saw something in me, that gave me an opportunity and would pull me to one side and be like, Elaine, what you said was right, but how you said it, oh my God, I want, that they would coach you and just give you that little bit of time back. And all of that built up to my boss now, who I worked with at said technology company, who I'm working with now, sort of rung me, very similar story, and was like, what are you doing? Kind of working here. I've got this project. I think you might be interested. I mean, I didn't, and we didn't know what it was. Didn't get paid. Didn't have a role description. She's like, we're just shaping something. Will you come? And I had a hole in my shoe when I walked in. We was in the Shard. It was very shiny. I had to borrow the money off my mum to get there. Walked in, they had 3 Diet Cokes in the fridge. I was like, right? I didn't have to steal. The charity would
I still take the free biscuits home. I've been away. Kids love it. Daddy's home. Look what I got.
Free stuff. The charity I worked at, we were stealing pens from the bank. Sorry, banks. We had nothing to then going into this shiny, incredible world. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not gone through. But I think I just feel that I should have just said thank you a little bit more at the time, because they're giving me lessons. I was doing the young person thing. Yeah, shut up. But now you look back, oh my God, they were right.
But genuine people don't do things for thanks.
Exactly.
They do it.
It's
a hard thing.
Yeah.
You get a lot more from giving than you do from taking.
I talk about this a lot with referrals, right? People talk about, how to incentivize referrals. And you don't, you say thanks. And I always say the purpose, if someone makes introductions, a bit different with partnerships, right? But with like genuine referrals, people do it because they want to, because it's in our nature to do it. And I always say, like, shouldn't incentivize it, but you should say thank you afterwards. But the idea of the thank you, I always say it's to raise an unexpected smile. You want to send a personal gift so the person comes back, oh my God, Jim, there was no need for you to do that, but thank you. That really touched me. And it's that piece. People do genuine people do genuine things because they just want to, because it's a nice thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But the saying thank you means even more then because they didn't do it for the thanks, they did it for the
Yeah, and I probably did thank them at the time, but I mean, like, thanks, like ugly crying thank you.
From
And
the
I think
bottom of my heart.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's that difference between being kind and nice, right? Because I think you don't really appreciate that when you're getting the message. And sometimes it's really awkward conversations. You're like, Elaine, that was great, but you totally butted in on everyone and you came in and you was loud and cussing, like dying inside. But that's somebody being kind to me because they're giving me that warning, where it's nice and they wouldn't have said anything and just let me carry on careering and bulldozing my way through my career. So it's that difference for me, and you don't appreciate that until you look back and realize that that's what made you the person you are, and then try and constantly evolve and be a better person so you can then pay that forward to others.
Right.
Oh, I love that pay it forward bit at the end there.
Oh, I went cheesy there. Where's the cheese? Where's the cheese on?
Right, well, before we move on to our quick fire round, I just want to check something. Jack, silent man behind the camera, have you got a degree? That means there's 3 more advent calendars in Jim's house than there is degrees in this room of 5 of us.
True.
Right.
No.
I think we've spoken a lot about human connection without doing the networking bit, but I think where are we on time?
Yeah.
We
can do quick fire round, definitely.
Quick fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Dave's going to ask the question.
Right.
I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and you both answer together.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
They're not difficult. You should know. You should just have the answer there in your head. So you should be
I'm not
quick
nervous.
and fiery. Go.
Traditional boozer or swanky wine bar?
3, 2, 1.
Boozer. Yes.
Early bird or night owl?
3, 2, 1.
Night owl.
Okay.
Don't talk to me before 8 in. Just don't. 8, 10, surely.
No, always been my motto: early to bed and up with the cock.
Pidec.
This is the quick fire round.
Hey. Sorry.
Right. Traditional business cards, yes or no?
No.
Go. Done.
No. Oh,
You're not bothered about business cards?
Never had one.
No.
QR code on your
Yeah.
phone from LinkedIn. Like, let's just move with the times.
Isn't it funny? Yeah. No, I agree. I
If I want to
agree.
contact you, give me your number.
Yeah.
Don't give me an email. You don't get a reply
Ends
to.
up in in your contacts and you forget,
Look, if they made a good enough impression, you will be knocking down their door and getting a one-to-one with them.
Yeah, I like good one.
I do like
You know what?
business cards.
I'm a no to a shit business cards, which is 99% of them. But if there's one that makes you go, that's cool, and it makes you more memorable, then I'm for it.
Just put them in your pocket and then in the wash, and then they're gone. The only times they would come in handy is like when you go to networking events. Whoever invented bowl food can get in the bin as well.
Oh,
But like, you don't mean you've got a bowl, you've got a glass in your hand, and you've got your phone in your handbag, and you're trying to network, and then someone tries to give you a business card. It's like, I haven't got a third hand, so I think sometimes.
So on that note,
keep it simple.
On that note, drinks at the alcoholic drinks at networking events, yes or no?
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
I love that Jim said yes, even though I know he's not a drinker anymore.
Yeah.
And we've had this before where it's not about necessarily about people drinking. It's about the fact that there are drinks at an event almost signifies that people should relax and just be themselves. So whether you have a drink or not, the fact that it's a event where you can do that, people tend to be.
You should
right.
always give people choice to abstain. I mean, I work with this guy at Stansted Airport. Every morning we met at 5 o'clock, and I used to bring the bacon sandwiches in. I knew he was Muslim, but every day I offered him a bacon sandwich. My boss said, "You do realise he's Muslim?" I said, "Yeah, but I don't want to exclude him."
Oh.
But one day he might have a bacon sandwich. Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna mess with my I am gonna mess with my question.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Red sauce or brown sauce?
Brown.
What?
Right, here we go. Bacon
Yes.
Right.
On a
okay,
bacon. Oh, here we go.
bacon sandwiches, red or brown?
Brown.
on
Sausage
sausage.
sandwiches, red or brown?
Red.
Brown.
Jim, you are correct. Elaine, what are you doing, you animal? Oh my word.
Brown on
Of course,
sausage.
don't you know?
Right. If you're having a bacon and sausage sandwich, you put both, one on each slice. Just say,
Oh, you are filthy.
So, and then just go for
there
it.
we go. Exactly. You are speaking my language. AI comment on LinkedIn posts, yes or no?
Oh, I don't understand the question.
So when people comment on your, either you doing it or when other people comment on your LinkedIn post and it's clearly written by AI, yes or no?
No.
No.
Yeah. Oh, go on. You were going to add something to that.
No, I didn't. So you may not see, because not everyone is in tune to it, but you get these like automatic or pre-written responses that you can put in. Sometimes they're quick, and other times you can do them so they're actually a bit more structured.
Okay, I get you. Look, AI to help you write posts and stuff, get you thinking differently, check my spelling. But no, be real. It takes 2 seconds to say something nice to someone.
I'd rather see someone's badly written own thoughts
Yeah.
than a slick AI version of them. Because as soon as I see an AI post, my thing is that I wonder how much of their own thoughts actually gone into it.
Zero, absolutely bloody
No,
zero.
I get that it isn't always zero, right? But my immediate response is, but my response is that my initial thought is that they haven't. And like just a badly written human post is better than a well written.
Yeah, my posts are full of typos, and they, still get all the
Right,
traction.
the thing I always do, I always put a semicolon instead of an apostrophe. Like they're constantly the bane of my life.
The ones have been written, but I think it's automation over using it as a co-pilot. So, use it to help you rather than using it just be like, write me a blog about that. And it's got all the emojis and you can really tell. But I think if you're being human and authentic, but there is nothing wrong with using it to help, because my blog post would be about 4.5 years long.
I need to write a short letter, but I didn't have time to write a long one instead.
Help me channel my thoughts so everyone doesn't fall asleep. Yeah, half of it. That's where AI comes in handy, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if you do you see this on people's posts that have got quite a lot of followers and this is very normal on Instagram and TikTok and even Facebook, but you get kind of fake accounts that are commenting on. I don't know if it's something that I either am or aren't doing right, but I never get any of those.
Me and you both, Georgie.
Isn't it weird? And then you see some people.
Thanks.
No, it's a good
Perfection.
No, I'd say it's a great thing.
Well, you were talking about Human Connection Network, and my whole thing is Human Connection, and I'm being much more anti-AI in terms of connection. Like AI is a wonderful thing, but you should use it to buy you more time to build relationships, go to other countries, go out and read the books for kids, do whatever. Like use AI to buy you more time to do good other stuff in the world. That's
like use it to save time. Absolutely.
Well, I'm from Barnsley, and we're still
electricity.
No, we're still using AI. I'm going to AI.
Right. First car.
Ford Orion.
Classic.
Go. No. Oh, I can't remember. It was purple.
It was purple.
It was really small. It was like a cheeky Twenco.
Chicken Trento.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Jim Wieners is a chicken cento, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Chicicento.
Yeah.
Nice. Sweet or savoury?
That's not a quick answer, is it? Savoury.
Savoury.
What's your favourite cheese?
Stilton.
Black Bomber.
Oh, yes. That is up there. That is, yep.
So I'm more of a Danish blue, so I'm a blue cheese man, but just that extra bit creamy, a bit more potent.
Stinky cheese.
Stinky cheese.
Thinking Bishop.
Right, last, we haven't done as much on the networking. I think there's been a lot about human connection, but not about so much about networking.
Whatever.
One of the last question we always ask our guests is one networking tip. So, Jim, I'm going to come to you first.
I heard it. I think it might have been Brenny Brown years and years ago that when you walk into a room full of strangers, everyone's freaking out. Don't think they're special. Just get stuck in. You get the most out of it.
Nice. Like that. And Elaine?
I think I kind of touched on it earlier, but just be yourself and focus on relationships. I think if you're like, hi, I'm Elaine, and you're going straight in for the hard sell, and I just switch off. So I think just be yourself. And instead of business cards, get your QR code from your LinkedIn saved as a screensaver so you can literally stick it out there. I invented that, by the way. And then you can connect with people and pick up the conversation later.
So an extra one on that I always do. I might have even already given it on a tip on a previous episode. Yeah, always get people. I always get people to scan me because I don't accept. I don't accept until I'm back at my laptop and I can accept and send them a proper message.
Yes.
Because you accept. Because my thing around business cards is that if I've got someone else's business card, I'll remember them and I'll email them and I'll connect and I'll do a proper message. And so that's the reason why I won't accept. I'll wait and then I'll send them a proper message.
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you. Oh, you should speak to so and so. Like the fortune's in the follow up. So that's so that get people to scan you and then hope you don't end up in a. And if we end up in a scan off, I'll take a screenshot of their LinkedIn profile to remind me to go back and do it properly. Form the relationship, build the relationship, right? So
Yeah. You need time to get to know each other. And sometimes in these things, especially if it's a really busy event and you are there to build connections. You want to try and talk to as many people as possible. And you can't always do that if you're going, is that 2 C's in McCulloch? Or is it, what was that? And me. And again, like this is maybe a top tip for event organisers. Can you make the names and the name badges bigger? Because I'm getting old. The eyes aren't what they used to be. And then I'm like staring. It looks like I'm trying to be a pervert.
do you have name
Staring at your
badges?
chest.
Absolutely not. No.
Oh, I'm a name badge. I'm always a name badge
I
fan.
don't.
Yeah.
If you're going to have them, make their name bigger so
No.
you can see.
Find them really icky. What my alternative to a name badge, if at one point I have budget to do so with Woco, anyone fancy sponsoring, then I would love to get lanyards. I don't know, that's a whole bit, lanyard wanker, but Woco Loco lanyards, and people that come on the regular just get their name badge and
And
then
you do look a
keep
little
it.
less pervy with a lanyard because no one has a breast in the
Right.
middle of the chest. does it?
That's my point. So for a woman, you usually put it on your tit and you just have people looking at your tits all night,
Yeah.
more so than normal.
I'm
So
uncomfortable.
it's but also sometimes they
Particularly it is.
Yeah.
I can't miss mine.
but also sometimes they give them to you and they've got a pin in, and then you're ruining your clothes with a
Yeah.
pin.
Yeah, I often wear shirts that don't have pockets, so they're like the little pin badge ones. So what the fuck is
Ridiculous.
that?
Or a sticker that just my biggest ick is unpeely stickers. When they start to like peel at the grim.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Ugh.
But you can get proper event label stickers that don't do that, right? It's when people use the normal rolls of white label.
I know, but
I remember when we were in our membership organisation, our paid members, they'd get little metal badges.
Yeah.
That-
So
so
I
that
like
it
the
was
idea of that.
and then it made them feel special at the event.
Yeah.
And then when we did our little pitch, we'd be like, see anyone with their proper name badge, he's going to talk
Yeah.
about how good it is to be a member. It was made it really.
Yeah, so and that's also, like at school or in the military or whatever, where you get these like a prefect badge, or you get a sport. I massively into sports, so I have all these.
Yeah, so you had a prefect.
No, as if. But I had like rugby, netball, and all the other sport, cricket and stuff. But it's just something. I don't know. You're right with the metal ones; they make you feel a bit.
I suppose it just depends on which angle you're coming from, right? Because if you're new to networking and you're really nervous, it is hard to remember people's names. And then the other end scale is when you're getting old like me, and then you can't remember them because you're just like, I know I've met you. And then you feel rude. So sometimes just having that quick peer at the name badge just gives that little bit of help.
100% with
Or what company they're working for, because not everybody can absorb loads of information.
So even if it's just their
so
first
good at
name,
that,
right?
just like that Rolodex of names. And I'm like, I met you, I love you, and we had such fun last time, but can't remember which company you work for. And that could be, so it's helping that little bit of rude as well. I don't know. I mean, most people I do remember, but it's some people come out the woodwork, you're like, oh my God, I've seen you for 10 years.
No, but I think we need to feel comfortable with going, oh God, do you know what? I've forgotten your name.
It's true. Yeah.
And I'm
Right,
quite happy to
own
do
it.
that.
You are Georgie. Just do fucking name badges, Georgie. Right.
I'm not doing name
and on
badges.
that note, before we just descend into pub
Oh,
chat,
Well, go on then. Fine.
you can tee it off. I'm just aware that we're now rambling into your pub chat charity. Jack's checking time and yeah.
We're done. We are done.
But what anticlimactic ending.
Oh,
Yeah.
really good
Oh
point.
yeah, we're done. We're done.
Really good point to make then.
Oh, go on.
Rude,
No,
I've
come
got-
on.
No, I've
No,
forgotten,
no.
I've
Yeah,
forgotten it now.
Can we have John Lobb, Georgie's point?
No, I've forgotten it. No, we're not. No, we're not allowed to buy. No.
Oh.
Jack will tell us off. No, I've forgotten what it is now. Time.
Now you're just being petulant. I don't know.
Easing.
We warned them that the cracks are already starting to appear, but it's been not till right at the end, is it? Right. And then
Love you.
Jim, that's been an absolute dream. I know. That's been an absolute dream. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolute pleasure.
Love you guys. You've been epic. I think that's
Well, thank you for inviting us. Big round of applause for you guys.
Oh,
Yes, great chat.
Bosh, done.
Wallet.
There we go.
Hey, really hope you both enjoyed that and found it useful.
And if you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Cheers.
Cheers.